Hello, everybody, and welcome to a fantastic Thursday afternoon special on ProCheck Primetime with Sean Hart and KT. Of course, ProCheck are with me as always. We got a new guest today, a guy that's never ever been on an interview, but he's had a crazy year and a crazy story that we're about to dive deeper into. None other than Haseem the Dream Acosta. Looking forward to getting down to this one, getting down to business. As you see on the stage there, we'll have the chat just in case. So we get Cody Smart in the audience. Here today, he'll be recording and doing his thing of notes of the interview. As always, we started off with Ard. Ard, interesting interview. Never did this one with the Dream. Know this guy for a long time. We met back in 2018-19 on FBRL. So you know that is an NR League popular one. Now it's kind of fizzled out, but still, they still have some things going on there. But now we've transitioned over to the old Uno League, and we're here. So, Art, your thoughts on just the Dream, what a seasons he's had, and looking forward to meeting him.
Yeah, this is going to be fun getting to know the person of Acosta who has been on a dream ride of the season. He has gotten on that sort of magic carpet and is ride all the way here to Super League. And he's done really great so far, and it's going to be fun just to have a good old sit-down talk with this guy.
All right, without further ado, let's bring him on stage. Haseem the Dream Acosta, welcome to the stage, my friend. As always, our first question, you can introduce yourself to the audience at home. Go ahead, my man, floor is yours.
Well, I was saying thank you guys for having me here. You to KT and Art and Mark in the audience. And hello to the audience. If they're watching this now or later, I appreciate you tuning in to the stream. Yeah. Have a good one.
Awesome, brother. Yeah, it's we really look forward to having you because you've had such a whirlwind season. We usually started off with how you got to the league, but mostly everybody except a couple people, the answer is I gave you a link. So kind of whatever with that. But your thoughts on this league, man, because you really arrived when you played the legend Fitzwater, and then you weren't really heard much of. You really were, let's call it like it is, in trouble, to say the least. 2024 was not a good season. The opening year, 23, was not a good season. Your thoughts on what's made the difference, though, in 25 and your experience for these first 3 years of the league? Go ahead.
Well, to what you first said, well, what everybody would say is yes, you did give me the link to this league, which at first I was skeptical because I first believed that your account was hacked, and I thought that it was like a scam league and I would lose my account.
That's crazy. Keep going.
Because I don't. But to your second question of coming into the league and facing off Fitzwater, that's like one of my iconic ones, I would say. It's amazing how his game really I kind of copied now here in Super League, because in my matches I had switching colors most of the time compared to Fitz, where we battled compared to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible to think that Fitzwater, a guy that we know is going to have one more hell of a year next year, and he's not here anymore in D1, but let's just face it, he's been the guy that's a reference for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years of this game. He's a really good player in his prime, and now you've played so many big players. You played Toaster Guy, myself, you've played Brad, Yepez twice now. You've played some big names. What's the experience been like playing those huge players and guys with a lot of stature, and you've been able to conquer some of these players as well, Yepez and Brad, for example?
It's amazing how each of those players that you mentioned is like you hear about them and then you actually play against them. And then you see the clear difference in myself and in their shoes. And that really shows you how much effort you put into playing into the Uno League that we have here. Because I would say, compared to myself, when I first started out, I really was like, wasn't giving it too much thought. I was like playing each card, if that was even a word. But it's just more, you put more thought into what you play now. As you get more experience with all of these guys that you play with, the people that you mentioned, Yepes, Toasty, Monkey, Fitzwater, and all those players. It's a great experience to have to come compete in this league.
Yeah, and we talk about other sport. We'll talk about some of your sports watching a little later. But you look at the NFL, you look at the NBA. Those are professional leagues, right? You look at MLB, NHL. All those are professional leagues, racing leagues. The equivalent of this is I almost say this is a golf league in a way. It's an equivalent of a PGA or a Live Golf because it's individual, right? It's really an individual sport, and there is no such thing as, well, you have an army behind you. No, you have fans behind you, but that's about it. And we do these ProCheck type interviews, press conference type stuff, but it's all an experience. Your thoughts on handling some of that media pressure along with your Super League experience so far? Because the lead to points against tough guys, as you said, Toaster, you never beat him before. He took care of business. Monkey got background coming up, Gold. Thoughts on that and your journey, man? Because not a lot of people know your story. You're supposed to retire after T1, T2. You're thinking about now. Here you are, pretty much on the verge of making around 12. And as you said, I think at the pre-interview too, or the pre-presser questions in the past, it's just about getting the experience for Super League this year, for sure.
Yeah. What made you want to retire is mostly of me not really playing enough. Because before we didn't have the power play embedded, and it was just a best of what I believe it was. Was it a best of 3 or a best of 5?
5, yeah. And that's the problem, right? You best of 5, and then we went to best of 7s, 9s, and then you started winning. Yep.
And I would say most of the time I was one that mostly everybody would know, oh, he's mostly gonna get out and be a layover against myself, which I will mostly agree to. So it's just mostly of I would say being down on myself, knowing that I would most likely 9 times out of 10 I will be out in the first set of matches. But afterwards, I just calm down and just got with myself and I just see if I don't make it out this next round, then I might just call it quits.
It's an amazing story of resilience, amazing story of the self-doubt, right? The belief of, man, I'm just going to be a layover. Like at an airport, I'm just an average layover or 2-3 hour layover, and no one wants to do it. But when you get through it, it's all right, on to the next. And that's what you really were, a layover in an airport. And then you turn it from a layover to a nonstop flight in the blink of an eye. What was that T3 run like, man? Because you beat Yoshi, you beat Logan. You were this close to taking care of business against Avian to get to your first Final Four, which you did get a Final Four in T5, which we'll talk about a little later. But what was that first experience of success like? Especially since you were 0 and I think it was 6 or something, 7 coming into that. It was insane to think about.
Yeah, I would say mostly I was mostly shocked and winning against Yoshi, but going against, I believe it was Logan that you said, I believe.
Logan round 1, yep. Yoshi round 2, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Ed round
Yeah,
3. Yep. Ed round 3. Yep.
I would say mostly beating Logan was the real shock. Because when I got to Yoshi, it was like, okay, it's like I can maybe pull this off. And when I did, I'm wondering, like, okay, like this might be legit now. And then when I got to Avion, it's just I feel like I just got too ahead of myself against Avion, and that really against him. But I already did so much getting there. I just thought, okay, if I could come back here next time, I could definitely have a better shot at
Well, you had the better shot. It was called T5. And I think the two things with T5 that stood out, obviously, the Radin win was, if people don't even know that win, everyone thought, oh, well, Costa in 4, right? Costa in 5. But you had to come back from 3-1. We'll talk about your heart attack moments in this league. Game 7, Game 9, Game 7, Game 9. That's all you've been known for. I mean, it's probably giving you 20 years off your life on that element. But your thoughts on that run? Because to beat Rad was one thing, but then to pile it up at, 90 minutes against Yepes? He absolutely shellacked Brad and Lara. And sure, maybe you didn't get the end result with Vapor, but the fact that you improved on the first time you played Vapor, which was more of a okay moment, I was like, okay, the game was more time delayed and whatnot. To play him that close and one game away from your first finale, to get that first medal, now to have a points lead in Super League, coming in with a ton of momentum. Your thoughts on just that journey and the last two tournaments so far, Super League and T5, and what's made the difference? Because so far, it's night and day.
Yeah, because I would say mostly in that run, I was more happy about getting the chance to face EFS again. Because that's where I first started out with going against EFS. And since we after that match he gone off to winning the entire thing while I just been stuck in a ditch most of the time. Until now recently. And then just getting up to oh man, just so much is coming back. Coming back to my head, just reliving all these moments. It's just it's so good. It's so good just to go back and just rewatch and see all the parts that I played, see how it all turned out in the end. Like it sucks that I didn't capitalize on paper, but I can't do much better now. So, but it's just been great.
Yeah, and the old saying, man, you know what the old saying is? You gotta sometimes lose one or two in those it's one thing to lose in round one. Like you said, you lose in round one. All right, it's a layover, and you're pretty much doing the Z's, you're pulling the naps, and when's the next tournament? It sucks. But then when you start losing in the Final Four as you did, then you had a little bit of an off tournament in T4, right? Losing in round 2 or whatever. I think that was to Vapor, ironically. But then you start picking it up in T5 where you make another big run. You lose basically one game away from a finale. You start to understand success. And, we've talked privately too, and I talked with a lot of players. Your story is just, it's right up there. I know Matt Johnson, we know Mac's similar story, but the difference with him is he has had one big run. You've had more sustained runs. And do you think there's something to maybe the fact that people are neutralized on this bot? Because if you think about it, with the old bot, when we used to play big names on the old bot, you could do sneak attacks. You could do a lot of things because there wasn't organization. Now with the organization, do you think the new bot has organized the field to where parity exists and you can bounce on it? Because people also think, well, this guy's still the same old Acosta, but in reality, that's farther from the truth. Because look at you and Alara. You guys play more of the slower, methodical style, and look where both of you guys are at. Points leads. Thoughts on that?
Well, I would say mostly the bot just needs more games, if I could say that. Because since me and Laura, we both play slow matches, we allow really the bot to gain more information. That's what it's like. by how should I say this? Uh, we just let we just let the bot think because most of the time the car, in my experience, and where I win some of my matches where I end up having more long plus fours or wilds or reverses in some of my matches. I believe some of that can come to, RNG and luck. But most of the time, I would say you have to know when to play those cards to gain the advantage. Just like hold a four that you got from the draw and just stay with it forever in your hand. And then you just end up losing. So I would just say the bot, it's like a toss up for the ball, I would say.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment, and I'll bring Art. We talked about, we've interviewed so many people so far. They talk about the bot just being such a level playing field, but it's an interesting point where it does need more reps, right? This thing's only, okay, technically this is the second Super League we used it, but the first Super League was such a, I don't know how to describe it. It was a bad show, a crack show. Yeah.
It was an absolute
It was a
mess.
dumpster fire, mainly because the logistics were terrible of when we started, and then it overshadowed the new bot. Now that we're technically a year on this thing, right? We're over a year, or soon to be a year on this new bot. I can't really say we're in a spot where someone's figured it out yet. And we always talk about new rule cycles or when someone's going to figure it out. I don't see anybody figuring this out next year, and I don't see anybody figuring this out until 2028 maybe, or 27 late, because it's such a unique thing where everybody, and I mean everybody, is getting better. The medalists in this league is basically 30. We have 43 guys over 100 starts. The competition is at an all-time high, and it makes the game a lot harder for people to get medals. The days of, who was it? The Ashley KT era last year. While technically part of it's over because Ashley retired, and I'm still here and I make Super Leagues, there's going to be a day where, that could fade. And when we lose that era, that dominant era, we're going to remember that era, but you know what? We lived through that. And it may have been tough for a lot of people because they got their butts beat, but now people will one day realize, you know what? We missed that era. Because now with the parity being so sky high, you don't have a main protagonist. And that's the one thing we'll talk about with Acosta in sports a little later. When you don't have a true main protagonist right now, I know Vapor's had a good year, but he's not going to be here next year, right? So be it. So you don't have that main protagonist, and I'm wondering with this bot, with the parity being essential, how the league will shape into the new year, especially with new promotions and whatnot. But I want to give a question to Ard. I know he's got a couple. Ard, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I guess I'll start with this. You know what? I'll ask this one. What's the coolest place you've been to in the New York City and surrounding areas?
I would say the coolest spots I have been in New York. I would say definitely in downtown Manhattan and Chinatown. Because most of the times,
Ooh.
during weekends in Chinatown, they have street festivals where they just have vendors out and they just have street for sale and where they just put the meals in front of you. Well, there's also people giving out beverages. There's also people in Soho with just a bunch of great great places to be at, places to drink, eat in Soho. There's also, I believe there was a park over there in Soho where it has a great concert that I was going to one weekend. But I will also say definitely downtown Manhattan near the harbor.
Yeah, that area, Chinatown. Now, what's the greatest dish you had in China? What's the best street food you've had? Street food is the best, man. You can't beat street food. It's the best.
I had I believe it was mochi dumplings. I believe I had from a street vendor, and I think steak on a skewer with barbecue sauce on top of it. Barbecue it on top.
Yes, okay. Let's go. Little BBQ, little mochi. What did you say? Dumpling mochi? What was that?
It was a place that owned in Chinatown where they deep fried it. It's a dumpling with a mochi.
Huh.
Oh,
I'm looking it up.
interesting.
I'm looking it up. Dumpling with mochi. Oh my god.
Dumpling with mochi. That sounds interesting.
Was it a flavor like a strawberry or what was the flavor?
I will mostly say they had multiple flavors. There was a green one. I believe it was I don't know if I want this wasabi because I would have not grabbed it if it were.
Wasabi's.
But
Oh boy.
Oh, jeez, wasabi.
I believe it was pistachio, strawberry, and I believe there was a white one. I'm assuming the white one. Oh wait, no.
Coconut?
Pork. Pork. I'm sorry. Pork.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it's all.
Or yeah.
So we're in Bangkok, Thailand. Here, obviously, we're super in. What that's called in the industry here is salabao. So that's good stuff. But you gotta be careful with that because the thing with salabao is it's good, but it's it can get addictive. So eat responsibly on that. I can get pretty addicted. I gotta limit myself on that too. I had a lot of it, man. Growing up, I still do it when we go to the Asian store. Asian food, just I always get the salabaos at the way out or some of the pastry stuff. It's all Asian pastries and it's good, man. But you gotta be careful because you can have one of those and too many of those, and you want for a guy like me. I don't feel anything. I don't weigh much, but it's always good to not overdo it. You know what I'm saying? It's not good to overdo it. You want to eat responsibly with that, but also be careful because you don't want to make that mistake of it's green pistachio. Yeah, that's wasabi, son. Yeah, that's a fatal mistake. That's a fatal.
Yeah, I've had that mistake one time before.
It's good. Listen, if you're sick, you got some allergies, you got some sinuses or whatever. Yeah, that's not a mistake. That's good. That's gonna clear you out. But if you're fine and normal, yeah, you don't want to have it too many times. I love wasabi. Don't get me wrong, sushi. I love it, but actually, I was with my buddy yesterday, and we were at a restaurant, and I always like, yo, give me the wasabi, give me the ginger. I'm taking it off your plate. No, you don't like it. I like it. And you'll see me. Now, I'll eat the ginger raw. I don't care. Ginger raw is great, but the wasabi, I gotta be careful because, I'm in public. I don't want to be a wimp. Anyway, back to this now, man. We'll do a couple more league questions. We'll talk about life a little bit. One thing that really is interesting with your game style, your gameplay too, is you never really have panicked. Do you think being calm? Do you think composure has helped too? I think obviously Super League is a little bit different. Playing into some people like Toaster Guy, I saw that the other day with the Mr. Krabs and whatnot, all that fun stuff. But do you think the calm composure mentality has changed in the sense that if you're down on ammo, you're not out of it? Because we've seen with this bot, I got nothing but a wild and you can win. And then we've seen, damn, I got everything and I lost. So do you think that makes a difference, the composure element? Is that an underrated part of your game in the league?
Yeah, because I believe most of the time when we play this game, I won't get to finish just on one card. I mean, most of the time I have to finish on a multiple, like 3 or 2 count. Because most of the time if I get to 1, I'm just leaving the door open on my opponent to just draw a draw, rather make me draw cards by playing the draw card most of the time. Because I do believe composure is definitely about how you show yourself while you're playing when you're playing your cards. Because you can't just go right out of the gate using all your action cards right off the go, because that'll just make you leave with all your numbers. And the last thing you need is to bank on the opponent to drop the same number that you have most of the time, because I don't believe that is the winning strategy sometimes. So in my game, I would say, since my slow play style really helped me keep myself in check, it's done wonders. So I was really surprising to see so many people in the league play fast most of the time.
Yeah, and the thing is with playing slow and fast, the pace management, it really is a personal preference, but I think with no power play and what we've seen are, it's better to play methodical. It is, but you're not going to be rushed. You're not going to have a unlikely 10 card run with the power play. It's very rare to see that anyway. But with no power play, you can feel more confident knowing that you can't get attacked from either in front or behind, and that makes the game a lot different. That's why I think Acosta, JT, Lara, guys like that, I think they prefer this more no power play game because you don't have to worry about that. It's an extra variable, and we'll see when Acosta eventually makes his way into the round of 12, very likely will, what that process is going to be. But yeah, I think there is some merit to composure, and there's merit to just the slow style, for sure. Last Uno question, we'll talk about life. Is there any one particular person, maybe you, that are in Super League? Maybe not to be your group, right? It can be anybody that's in the guys that are on buy. So that's Vapor, obviously Vapor, be I'm sure public enemy number one for you. G, myself, Mac, Andy, Myth, right? The other guys on a buy. Is there any one particular person you'd be looking forward to playing? Obviously, you've played myself, you've played Vapor twice, you've played. Did you play? No, I don't know if you played Andy. Oh no, never mind. You never played Andy. So yeah, anybody in particular you're looking forward to play if you are on a buy, or who knows, or play one. Maybe you don't play Andy or Myth. Maybe you qualified high enough, and maybe you're playing Lara again, around a 7-10 or an 8-9 match. So your thoughts on that element of Super League and who you're looking forward to play if you get there?
Uh, that's a good question, because if I look at the bracket and to see people, I have Chelsea, BC, and Monkey, which I already played against. They're good players, but I would say the person who I would like to face the most, I would definitely say it will be either yourself, KT, G-Man, and I really would love to go against Mac Johnson.
Good old stack, yeah. Yeah, and what makes our game different is you look at G, he's been around the block, right? Tough player, OG type of player. Doesn't really practice a lot, right? Knows how to game the system. Mac's a guy that doesn't practice a lot, but he's similar to you, where he learned a lot of the ropes from top players, ironically. Caesar, myself, he's played some Peter, and he's learned. And then we all know what I can do. So it would be an interesting rematch with me and you. Interesting game between you and Mac, and I think you and G would be a really good game. So we'll see if that happens. But of course, we'll see how the points shake out. If you're even playing one of those guys, or maybe you're just starting off with another group opponent. Who knows? All right, well, now we'll go to Ard. I know Ard's got a couple more. I know I've got a lot. So we'll do to Ard, then I got some questions about life. Ard, go to you, buddy.
Yeah, Acosta, what does your love of sports help you during competitions?
My level sports, well, I just love the love for competition. It's just the intense battle of wondering what can you do to help yourself win, and in return, you gotta make sure that you don't make any mistakes, that make sure you don't be the reason for your own defeat. But comparing that to Uno, it's really all on you. That you can't mess up calling Uno, can't be playing the wrong card, can't be doing like a misinput in calling a chain in Uno. But it's just like the drive of competition in sports that just helps gel together me playing people in Uno.
No, I get that completely, because in sports, competition is everything, right? You and sometimes you don't know what your competition is bringing the next week, or the next game, or the next whatever. In Uno, it's, as you said, it's really you versus the bot. Sometimes, or it's you versus the cards. Your opponent is going to react, and what's the old word? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. React accordingly, but almost be proactive and then reactive. Right, that's the words. It's almost fight or flight. And when you're proactive in Uno, you're probably looking at ammo. But if you're reactive, you're probably reacting to the ammo given your way. So it really depends how you look at that, how you view the card history, how you view the game. So yeah, sports is a good man. Sorry about your Jets, man. I know that's tough for you. Oh man, that's
Oh.
It's part of the experience, KT.
Yeah, well, at least you got your Mets. They might make the playoffs. Getting close. Could be close.
Well, we'll see.
That starts up next week, right? We'll see how it goes, though. All right, so now life. Obviously, I remember you did a little bit of some podcasting. You did a little bit of some other things in the NR world. I know you do some video game. What's video gaming been like, and what was that podcasting experience? I know you don't. I don't know if you do anymore, but I do remember listening to one of your episodes with your buddies. What's your thoughts on how you got that created, and a little bit of video gaming you do off the table as well?
Oh, then the podcasting I did was called Just Chill Podcast with me and my buddies. We just one of my friends just decided, oh, we should do a podcast because he has a bunch of stories that he wants to give out. And so I believe we recorded about 7 episodes, I believe last year, but I believe 3 of them got corrupted while we're editing the videos. And I believe now there's only about 3 or 4 episodes on the channel, I believe. But it's been pretty good. I believe we're not doing it now anymore because everybody else has their own work schedule and we all can't find a great time to sit down and chat about it nowadays. But as to what the second part of the question was, I forgot. If you don't mind repeating it, KT.
Yes, sir. Video gaming. Your video game experience.
Ah, right. My video game experience. Because on my own YouTube channel, I did upload guides on video games, I believe on some Pokemon Tower Defense, Habbo, Club Penguin when I was young. And I used to upload NASCAR finishes before, which also helped with my channel. But other than that, it's been pretty lavish here, I believe. Because now I could be uploading videos with gameplay of other games I've been playing, mostly Overwatch, other Steam games like Helldivers. But it's just not finding the time and to really recording and uploading to what I would like to.
It takes a lot of time, man. You think about what we're doing here already. Now, this is easy. This is a live stream format. This is pretty fun. But before that, we had the podcast. We have the stream games. It's a lot of work. It's not. I think we always say time. I think it's not really the time element. It's just sometimes the passion's not there, right? And there are things that I've wanted. I remember doing a podcast years ago, and it was successful. It was, and I had time. It was fine. It wasn't about finding the get. It was just at a certain point I had done over like 150 episodes, and the passion just it wasn't there anymore. And the reason why I wasn't there is because you get to a certain point where you reach I guess an appropriate amount of success, and you don't get I don't say get bored, but you almost get to a point where where's the next growth, where's the next challenge, and that's where I got to a point in that pod. But would you say in your podcast, right, or your video, do you feel that maybe if something new came out, if maybe something refreshing came out, that would make a difference for you to get back on the horse, or do you think it's just still on your own terms and by the seat of the pants?
Well, I believe mostly what you say about the passion in our case of our podcast. It's just that once one person starts to fall out, and then another person starts to not fall out, not respond, and then it just starts to dwindle down. And we wouldn't want to record an episode without all of us being together. And so I would say mostly entrance also as well with my podcast. But I would say maybe a little spark there, but it just has to be like has to click for it to like to get it back going into being back to a podcast. But for the videoing and recording, I believe it's just I would have to think to myself, is this something that I would like to do? And if it's worth putting my time into, and most of the time I would be yes, but do I really want to put the time into recording and editing a video and uploading it, and then wondering if it does good, or I just keep uploading regardless? But I would say it's just a toss up among those things.
Yeah, the content element. I want to talk a little bit about the content element and the social experience, because we talked a little bit about this with Matt Johnson. We've been all over the board. We were doing video game programming with Lara, and the content element. How has social media changed from when you first came on this app? Now, how long have you been on this app? 8 years almost? 7?
I, I believe. I
Yes.
believe so.
17?
Yeah.
18? Yeah, it's been a while. So what's the experience been like on this app, and a little bit about social media in general? Because it's been... You hate to use the words night and day, because certain things are night and day, but it really is night and day. Would you say that's a fair assessment? Thoughts on this app, a little bit of some of the communities you've been on Discord and social landscape all, because it's changed for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Mostly here on Discord, where you could just join just any server you could think of and just interact with a bunch of people, where you could just talk about this, or in another server you could talk about that. But it really does open your eye to wonder how many communities you can get into and be a part of. And you wonder how much you want to interact with that community, so forth, so forth. But with social media, it's just really evolved compared to before. It just really has. With just everybody just having their own thing to say. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Should you say that? Is it right for them to say? But it's a head scratcher nonetheless. But it's just how it evolves throughout time.
No, it's the short form content, man. It's nowadays content's being consumed in what 5-10 seconds. 15. The attention spans have gotten progressively shorter and shorter and shorter, and it gets to a point where, damn, 15 seconds later the video's over. I'm pretty sure what's his face said. No, not what's Adam Silver said, right? It's a highlight league. Yeah, he's right. I mean, a lot of the leagues now in sports or anything entertainment, it's highlights. It's not, oh, it's a full blown league. No, it's highlights. And whether that's good or bad, I don't know. Right? We're going to find out in a couple of years on what it actually will mean. What actually is going to be the meaning between social media highlights for highlight videos versus the actual full game experience. Because the full game experience is on TV or on a streaming platform now, which has become number one mainstream. So we'll see how it goes. But we'll go to Art. I know Art's got some more. Art, that was a good segment right there. Art, go take it away, buddy.
Yeah, Acosta. Now I know we were going to come back to Uno here, and I want to ask an Uno question. How has your ammo control of the game of Uno been your key to success?
I would say my ammo control has been calm, I'll say. Because most of the time I mostly because if I start off with a bunch of numbers, or rather actually one color, I will mostly focus on getting them down to around 3 or 4 cards, and then I will want to make a switch or make a play on making a chain with those cards onto another color and then continue it. But I would say my ammo control has been very calm, and how I just let the opponent do their own thing. Because I will mostly react to mostly them most of the time, I'll say. Because I'll say in my play, I don't tend to be very aggressive as I would like to be, since I play a very slow play style. However, I would do like to be more aggressive. Previous matches will say. But other than that, I would say my amp control, yeah, it's been pretty good. It brought me to where I am now, I'll say.
It's always evolving, man. It's always evolving. It's never linear with ammo control, because ammo control, everyone thinks ammo control is +2s and +4s, but how you use a wild card is ammo, and people don't realize that. Reverses is ammo. All that stuff, that's ammo. And if you don't know how to play into that, and you don't know how to time it right, then you're beating to the sword, you're beating to the punch. But if you don't time it at all, then you're kicking yourself. So it's such a unique world, man, with ammo, because it's never linear, and that's what makes the game so good. When it's not linear and it's a puzzle, you have to figure out the next move. Things get really fun. But when it becomes too one-sided, or it becomes too, clean, and it becomes too predictable, then it just becomes a trend, and you almost say, where's the challenge? So it is something to keep in mind for sure. Now I'll go back to life here. Obviously, living in New York, traffic is a murder. It's always been a hellhole sometimes when you're trying to drive in a taxi. But do you find it yourself just more walking is the key in New York? Because when I went up there, it reminds me of Europe, continental Europe, colonial times, where you probably could get to a point A to point B in a big city where you can just walk, more than taking a ferry or a train or even Uber or taxi because the roads are all interconnected. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I'll mostly give the pitch in because most of the time I mostly be walking 9 times out of 10. It's either that or I just take the bus because most of the time I could just walk along the side of the bus as there's making it stop based on the traffic. So it's either that or sometimes you take the train. Then you also gotta worry about the subway of having delays. But I would say mostly having delays will mostly be in the mornings compared to the afternoon, since it's rush hour with people coming out of either work or rather going to work. And then you have kids coming out of school, coming going to school, rather people going to college, or kids coming home, and you just have to navigate through that. But I mostly just prefer walking. And plus, it's a good workout. It just helps build your legs.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yo, go bring in Art. What did I tell you, buddy? Go to Art here, buddy. I tell you all the time. Good, nice, healthy walk. Nice day. Helps build that second heart, man. Because everyone thinks your heart is your heart, but you have a second heart. It's in your calf muscle. People don't.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing. I've done this a lot where I walked around like downtown Fort Worth, so I can understand the similarities there. It's just
yeah, man. It's any big city. It's not advised to travel by a car. It's probably advised to travel by foot. It really is. You can just be now. The only time now if it's 30 minutes across town, maybe, and it's a bad weather day. Yeah, maybe the train. Right, train will work. Ferry, whatever. Yeah,
Well,
but
I would say mostly train.
yeah, train. But if it's a nice day, man, who gives a frick? Just go out there and take a walk. And that's what I was doing up there when I was in NYC, and I've been to those big cities, just Bangkok, Rome, whatever. Just take a walk. You don't use public transportation. Bus sometimes maybe if you're in a tricky situation where actually the traffic's not too bad, but you don't know the area. Maybe you take a bus and it's a far out of your way, 45 minutes away. But if it's within 20, 30 minutes, nothing wrong with a good walk, really, to be honest, and enjoy yourself on a nice day out.
Yeah, pretty much. Because based on your walk, you could literally just interact with most of the people on the sidewalk, or rather, just go sightseeing as you go on your walk. You could just go into the stores if you want to get a snack for yourself, because there's one in basically every corner in New York.
Pretty ridiculous, right? It's every corner, man, there's something. Now, have you ever been to Central Park, the CP?
Yes, I have.
What's that experience like? Because obviously I've been there, you've been there, but maybe Cody or Art never been there. What's the experience like for the fans at home that never been there? Because it's a hell of a time. Sometimes you see people with no shirts on, they're having a fiesta, and then you see people just walking their dogs or biking. So, want to get that experience?
Yeah, because the last time I went there was during the winter last year, is where you have people jogging, you have people, obviously on bikes, walking the pets. There's also people on the grass hanging out, having a picnic, enjoying themselves. There's also festivities over there at Central. Because when I was over there, I believe, I recorded an episode of my own podcast there with a bunch of people on a hilltop over there in Central Park. There's also a great venue over there too, where there's a bridge, and then you could choose to go over the bridge, or you could choose to go under it, and then it just gives you a little passageway into Central Park. And then in the center, where you just have a little monument where people is. Then you have the fountain where you could just draw a coin in just for good luck or to say your blessings. But Central Park has been kind to me so far.
Good old WW, the old wishing well, right? The old well, and do your thing. Yeah, and it is a nice area. It really is, and as you said, you have a lot of amenities to go out there and explore, and it's definitely a different park than, let's say, your average park in your neighborhood. There's a couple parks worldwide that are similar to that, but Central Park is unique in a sense that you see a lot of different things. It's not. I'll say as much. It's not Times Square. Times Square is a madhouse. That's a madhouse.
Because you have basically everybody doing something at Times Square.
The old TS is you gotta have eyes in the back of your head on the old TSR. I'm telling you, when I was there, man, you gotta be careful of pickpocketers. You gotta be careful of people bumping into you, tourists, people that don't even understand what's going on, people that are just in the middle of the street just looking up at the building. That's when you know they're a tourist. And the old adage is if you look up at the buildings, the old adage in any city, especially New York City, you're a greenhorn, you're a tourist, right? So you just got to keep walking and not try to look up unless you're just staying there stationary and there's no one around you. Then sure, but it's just there's no time to really look up because it's such a high populated, high dense area. You can't. And Acosta has more stories than me, I'm sure. You mess around there, you're screwed. Now, obviously, when it gets to Mets or Yankees or the Knicks, the old Nick Sanity run, as I call it, when the Knicks were making waves, that was when I went up there. It was ridiculous, man. The amount of people there just to see the Knicks or just the sports landscape in New York it's very brutal. If you don't perform well up here, you're kind of screwed. You don't have you have a short leash with the fans, and it really is the next day. You can be perfect today, and then what's your next at bat? That's how it is with a lot of it. But New York is one of the most brutal fan. Boston as well, L.A. Those big markets, Chicago. There's no time. It's
Philly.
Philly's the worst. Philly's one of the worst. Yeah, it's different when you go. Let's say, you're in the local Jacksonville area. No, it's completely different than or Tampa. It's different when you're in those big cities. Now, what was it? What would you say was the experience like when you were having the Knicks run? Because obviously I remember you making a reference to the Knicks when you beat Logan or Yoshi as well.
Yeah, because I am mostly a Nets fan, where my entire family is a Knicks family, where everybody is celebrating. It's just mostly a reference to Jalen Brunson doing his thing, being like this one light for New York basketball compared to how it was before, where you just had KD, freaking Kyrie, with I believe who else was it? Harden in New York, and it's just Jalen Brunson being like the heart. Unless you want to count Aaron Judge, but we all know what he did last year, sadly. Serious.
Yeah, we don't want to bring those memories up, huh?
Oh boy.
That's okay, man. Art and I are not, ironically, even though I'm not a local team sports guy, so thankfully you can say it's a safe space here. We're not going to judge. This isn't some Yankees fans you're talking to out here. This would be a little different story, wherever we were. But no, it's a crazy. Now, have you ever been to a game? Have you ever?
I have never been to a Mets game, but I have been to multiple Yankees games in Yankee Stadium.
Old or new? The new one, I'm assuming.
The new one, yes. I never got.
Oh man, that I remember seeing photos of that old one. Now
that place was going, but man, in the heyday, it was the pad. It was the place to go. It's the spot, but yeah, the probably the most famous, obviously, moment of that old stadium had to be the 9/11, right after 9/11 with the Subway Series. That was crazy, but yeah, the old stadium. I think I went there one time. I took a tour up there one time, and back in 2005, and we were in the Statue of Liberty and whatnot, and we were in that area, and yeah, it was crazy. It you had to be there. A lot of old stadiums. It's just the memories, right? The memories. It's the old nostalgia. there's nothing like bringing back the old nostalgia. But yeah, definitely the new stadium. Never been there, but it's got a lot of amenities. I'm sure it's updated as always. Now I'll go to R. I got some more quick. We'll go back to R. R, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask this. Acosta, is there a favorite memory as a kid that you look forward to revisiting one day?
One memory that I will look forward to going back, or rather remembering, I would say it would mostly be going back with, I believe, with my father. Because me and him, we had a pretty tight relationship before him and my mom sadly separated with each other. But other than that, he's been off the grid, but he's been doing his own thing. But memory, I would say, would be I would say revisiting myself when I was when I was back in middle school when I first started out in I believe in fourth grade, and it just wow yourself.
Nah, man, that's deep, and that I respect the hell out of that. Just rekindling those old memories with family. Now, would you say now you're? I don't want to get this wrong. What descent are you? I know you're in Latin, but what culture again? Remind me. Is it Colombian? No, not Colombian.
You mean
Where's that Acosta?
my
Yeah, your descent or
my
nationality.
descent?
Yeah,
Oh, my nationality. I'm Dominican.
Okay. So yeah, well that's baseball is in your DNA. Then that's where they get the players. That makes sense. Um, Now, have you ever visited Dominican Republic? Have you ever been to the DR? Or
Uh, Sadly, no, I have not. But I would love to go visit there because I have my family originated from DR, Santa Domingo, and I have a bunch of family over there waiting for me. Just waiting for me to go over there one day. But the farthest I have moved, or rather visited out of New York, would mostly be Pennsylvania to the Pocono Mountains. And oh no, not the Pocono Mountains, but to a water park in Great Wolf Lodge when I was younger. Other than that, it's just been me in the city for most of my life.
I got you. So yeah, GWL. I got you. Now what kind of cuisine do you have in the DR and that you can bring to the city? And what are some maybe some traditions we don't know about DR culture that you can share with the fans?
Um, I'll mostly say my mom makes plantains,
Right.
where she takes green plantains, she strips them off, she boils it, and then just smashes it with a little hammer just to make it flat, and then she'll put salt on it, and it will just be delicious. Just smashed plantains. She makes malanga, where she makes uh she boils a what's it called? I forgot what it's called, but it's a pink yuca where if you cut it, it shows a red tone in between, and when it gets boiled and then you smash it up together, it gives a purple hue, but it tastes amazing for dinner. And as for a drink, she'll mostly make mostly orange juice with milk and ice. It's just a creamy, tasty, delicious drink.
it's some type of I know what it's called. It's some type of leche. It's
Yeah, but it's not dulce de leche because that's caramel
right.
in
It would
Spanish.
be Naranja, right? Naranja. uh, is it Orange Julius? Is it called Orange Julius? Might be.
I don't believe so, but maybe because she never really calls it, she just makes it regardless.
Now, by the way, I always when people talk, I always try to do research on my phone. It says Orange Julius is a mix of orange juice, milk with a little bit of ice. So this could be it. I don't know.
I think you gotta have it like say it in Spanish, because
Yeah.
my mom, she's a Spanish talker most of the time. She isn't too well with English,
I
so
was okay. I got you. Yeah, I'll have to. I know. You know what's funny? I understand a lot of Spanish and I can say the words, but I'm better at picking up on what people say and translating in my head. But I'm afraid to say it because I look like an idiot sometimes. It's crazy, man. My brain weird like that, man. I can a lot of them. I can know what they're saying. At the sad part, I don't want to say anything because I don't look like an idiot here. Unless it's tied, and that's different. But um,
I mean that's fair.
yeah,
Since I do speak Spanish, but I am great with knowing what Spanish you're speaking, but I most sometimes I can't repeat the Spanish words back to you.
right, right. It's, I know a lot of words. Probably one day, that's one of my. I probably would just sit down, probably just try to figure out the last, I don't know, 60-50% I don't know of it, and then I'll try to add it to my arsenal. But yeah, it's always important to speak another language. But now you learned that growing up as a kid, right? Be bilingual, I'm guessing, as a kid. Yeah,
Yes.
gotcha. Yeah, if it's ingrained in your family like that, it's pretty easy just to absorb it in as a kid, for sure. Art, go to you, man. Go back to you. Back to you.
Yeah. Akasa, what's your thoughts on your spiritual journey through tough times?
My spiritual journey. Hmm. Usually, I just keep it in my head to myself sometimes, but I mostly get a pen and paper and I just write down and then just draw how I feel. And then I'll mostly be moving around because I wouldn't, because I hate being in one place and just having it sit on my shoulders for too long, and where I just have to move and it would just fall off, if you could get what I'm saying.
Got to be on the go. Can't be stuck in a place, I guess, is the best I would say.
Yes, because if you just stay in one place and you're just having bad thoughts coming to your head, it's just not gonna do well for yourself. You're most gonna feel like you're stuck and you can't get out. Compared to where you're moving and where you could just do things while you're moving to get it off your head and have it replaced with things that you're doing that can help get it off and help put it to the side, or rather confront it, confront it. But as earlier I was saying, I mostly write it down and see if I could draw to help counter it.
Interesting. Now, you mean draw? You mean pen and paper, right?
Yes, I will say I will write down what's been bothering me. Then afterwards, like on the same paper, I will draw something that will help beat it off, or rather just chip away at it until it's gone.
Yeah, because no, that makes sense. Because we always talk about this, or when you write something down, or you have creative outlet, a creative outlet, yeah, a creative outlook, and you can put pen to paper, you're more likely to shake off the demons or remember XYZ thing to become more of a fulfilled learner than lingering in your mind. You're hazy and you're foggy, and you have too much in your mind. You overload yourself and stress yourself out. So yeah, that's now. Now you always been a guy to be creative on the drawing side. You like drawing. You like art kind of.
Yes, I have. My younger self was drawing a bunch of Pokemon, cars, characters. I mean, I did pick up back into drawing for a good 2 months, but it has dwindled down now compared to it. But mostly, I was mostly seeing if I could still be able to draw to what I could back then.
Interesting. Craziest thing you've ever drawn in your life. Follow.
Hmm,
Or
I would
cool,
mostly
or
say
coolest, or coolest.
I would. I'll say I did try to draw Tokyo with a bunch of buildings with a bunch of people in it, but I could only manage doing the buildings. And I would say the coolest thing I've drawn will mostly be Shadow the Hedgehog. I believe I did this year. Yeah, that I did this year. Yes.
Oh, you better get Daniel Wills in the call now.
No.
Okay, I tried. Oh, he's got the profile pic. But anyway, all joking aside, yeah, no, I always notice those videos. Sometimes I see them online where you go from one point to another point on the buildings, and it creates a city. I don't know what it's called, but I guess freeform art, and freeform with the precision of the building, especially. It's always fascinating when you have a cityscape landscape when you draw it out, and you can pinpoint Tokyo or Johannesburg or Sydney whenever you get a chance to look at those videos. It's pretty fun. But art is it's a fickle thing, right? Because it's subjective. What is good to someone is maybe crap to another, and what is crap to another is good to someone else because it's such a subjective thing, and what people like is different than one specific linear equation on art. So, yeah, it is interesting to have those thoughts and to have those prerequisites in a sense on drawing, because really all it is just be creative and let your mind flow and go. That's it. So, it's fun. Think about it. A couple more, man. Then we'll wrap it up and do a little this or that, which is our fun game we always do for our guests. What would you say is your biggest accomplishment so far in your young life, and what is something you maybe haven't done that you want to explore doing in the future? Going back to that childhood memory question, that was a good question too.
Hmm. I'll say one of my biggest accomplishment was I would say being an honor student in high school. I would say when I believe it was for 3 years in my high school. I managed to finish with honors. And then another big accomplishment for myself would be obviously graduating with everybody. But my biggest accomplishment, I wouldn't say I haven't done it yet because mostly I prefer what my big dream now is being a park ranger in New York. Since it pays good, you get a great uniform, great pay, and plus you get to be outside, be outdoors, being in New York. I would say I haven't been reached it yet. To say that my biggest accomplishment has not been.
Now, to be a park ranger, do you have to go to training, or how does that work?
To be a park ranger in New York, I believe you will have to have. You could have your driver's license. There is training, but you could sign up for it right now if you choose to. But it mostly you have to have recommendations from being from different programs in NYC, which I have, but I believe that I don't see myself qualified yet, knowing that I don't have a decent time gap at the moment compared to where I was last working. So I believe I could be a park ranger now. I don't believe in my work resume to say that I can confidently say that I am worthy of being a park ranger. Not yet, at least.
Okay, so you need a little more time. Hey, look, at the end of the day, you got time, right? What are you, 22, 23?
25.
You still got time, man. And people don't understand. You know, nowadays, people think, oh, I got to have it figured out by 20, 30, 25, 30. No one does. Right? Nobody does. And if you do, sign me up. I'll sign pen and paper right now to it. No one's got to figure it out. There's always an involvement. There's always going to be a lot of growth and journey, and as I said, the spiritual journey to the platform. And whatever you set your mind to, whether it be that park ranger, that next big thing, always remember the past. Right, the past always shapes the future. So something to keep in mind down the road is whatever you've done in the past, it could still shape the future. What you do in the present, it makes a more calming approach than what others see fit. So keep that in mind as you kind of progress through life. They want to give you that advice. A couple more. Obviously, I know we mentioned the Jets, we mentioned the Mets, we mentioned all the New York sports team. But is there any traditions in New York, or any traditions you've been in the city that maybe you've experienced firsthand that we don't know? You want to share with us?
Any traditions that I experience in New York? Not really, because most of the times it's mostly just you mind your business. You don't poke your nose into things that's not in your hands unless you want it to be in your hands. But it's been all right, I guess. No, I wouldn't say there's really a clear tradition in New York since it's so diverse over here.
Yeah, there's too many. There's almost too much of a melting pot of cultures where the traditions almost can be within a micro environment. Where Chinatown's a tradition, or you go to Thai town, there's a Thai restaurant, Indian. There's too much of a melting pot, and when there's too much of a melting pot, then you really can't have one specific tradition or one specific outlet to reach. So that makes complete sense. Instead of just trying to lock down on one tradition for sure, you gotta kind of roll with the flow. That's really all I got, man. I mean, is there anything? We'll kind of save this to the end. We'll just do it now. Is there anything that we haven't heard from you, or you haven't shared, you want to share to us? Anything special talents? We had Larry Huo saying he could sing, and he tried to sing for us a little bit. We've had some other people. Any special talents we don't know about the dream? What we got? Anything?
Talents, I'm not really, I believe. I would say mostly just drawing. Drawing is really my strong suit, but I'll mostly have to get back into it if you would like to see a piece of it. I don't know if I can show you my recent artworks that I did, which I did mention the Shadow the Hedgehog that I did. I have, I believe, a folder of when I was myself this of drawing a bunch, I believe a whole region of Pokemon. I believe it was. I think the Unova region. I think all of those Pokemon. I believe I had, because I had a book that I stole from Target when I was younger, and I had the entire Pokemon list, and I just figured out for, I believe, for a couple months. So I just decided to draw them all, and it just came out pretty well. So I would mostly say just drawing is my calling card.
Yeah, you gotta share some of that art, man, for sure. One day, share some of that art. We'll take a look at it, and we'll go from there. But it's time for our favorite game, Art. This or that. This time we're gonna go a little New York City edition because got Acosta here. We did a fun one there with computer programming, video gaming. We did Toasty with New Zealand. We'll go New York City edition. All right, here we go, buddy. Simple, this or that. Just pick which one you think you would rather do. And this first one's kind of painful, but it is what it is. Would you rather get kicked in the head by a subway busker or have a pigeon fly in your face?
I'd rather just have a pigeon just fly to my face.
Art?
Either one sucks, but I guess I'll go with the pigeon.
Yeah, make it a triple on that one. What kind of question is that? I guess it's well, you know what it is. New York City, it's a trick question. Common thing with New York City is carrier pigeons. Back in the day, you used to have this carrier pigeon. They still do some. Believe it or not, funny story. I remember it was in Central Park. There was this one guy that had a note. And I think he literally had a pigeon land on him, and he put it on the pigeon's beak, or the feet, and it actually carried it to the next stop, or whatever. It was weird. So they still exist, but you got to really know how to work your devilish magic on birds, I guess. Keep that in mind, though. Let's see. Would you rather have to walk behind a confused tourist family forever, or have to talk to every person with a clipboard the size of a common New York one? What do you think, Costa?
Oh God, being behind a tourist family forever just sounds inferior. Oh, that sounds annoying as hell. Because I'll probably just get mad. I'll probably just curse out the parents and not the children. So I'll just go with the second option. So, because most of I just talk with people. Because talking to people is way easier than being behind someone who you know just won't move at all.
Nah, that's valid. Art, thoughts on that?
I'll stay behind a tourist family.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I'll because sometimes I don't want to. If I'm like just walking around just to walk around, I'll stay behind somebody until they move out of the way, and then I'll keep on going.
Even a confused yeah, that's a lot of guide to your patience, man. I do have that guide to your patience. I will say I could probably deal with it, but the problem is I do like talking to people a lot. So give me the clipboards. That's probably going to be easier. I can make conversation and it can be fun. The tourist family, while I have the patience, for a little bit. If it's forever, I just don't know if that's a good. It's not a good mix. If you maybe said one day, yeah, I go for the one day. But forever, nah. Forget the forever. Nothing's forever on that in that case. Good question though. That's a good one. Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. Would you rather get weekly free tickets to Hamilton, the musical, or have a rent-controlled apartment? Cost?
I'd rather have a rent-controlled apartment than see a show of Hamilton. Because I'm not really a big opera guy. My girlfriend is though, so that might. No, I'm just gonna save the rent-controlled apartment.
Save yourself there. I got you. Okay. All right.
Rent control apartment.
Make it a triple. Yeah, I know. I forget. Simple as that. We're gonna move on now. That was more of a New York classic Broadway thing. This sounds painful again. Would you rather never be able to leave Times Square? Oh boy. Or sleep in a well-used knockoff Elmo costume in Times Square? Good Lord.
Oh no! I'd rather go with the first option. Because who knows what happens in that Elmo costume?
Art?
I'll do the first option as well.
Okay, we're not leaving time. That's a triple threat there. Yeah, I don't. What happens in Vegas? Whatever happens in that costume is staying in that costume. Let's just go with that. Don't want to know what goes on behind closed doors in New York. Let's see. Oh, this is another weird one. Would you rather have a train pull into the subway station any time of the day you want, or always be able to find a cab immediately? Interesting. That's a good one.
Ooh. I would say I'll go with the first option because the train don't got no traffic compared to a cab. So it definitely would have to be the train for me.
Art?
I'll go with a cab.
Interesting.
Uh,
Why's that?
Because if there's always one that's always open and you can immediately get into it, that's perfectly fine.
The thing with the cab, the only thing I have, and the problem is with the cab, you go into the cab, right? Everything's good, everything's dandy, but the meter's running. You know what I'm saying? The meter running. Whereas the train, it's a set rate. You're not going to have the meter running on a train. It's a set rate. So I got to go with the train. And I've been to those places where you go into a cab or you go into a taxi. It's fun. It's relaxing for a little bit, but then you start to realize when the meter's running, are they sure you're taking the right way, or are they trying to rip you off as a tourist? So keep that in mind. That's something to keep in mind always when you're, wandering around the old parts. Let's see. This is a crazy one. Would you rather step into a mystery puddle anytime you wear sandals, or lick a subway pole once a week? What the actual?
So the
pretty bad.
question is, would you rather lose your foot or you rather lose your tongue? That's the question.
Pretty much in New York, yeah. Which one is it, buddy? Oh god.
I rather step into a mystery puddle. I gotta keep my tongue because I gotta taste food.
I'll step in the puddle.
Yeah, you have a better chance of the puddle not being toxic, right? There's something that blows your feet up. You don't even want to know what goes on in a mystery poll. I don't even want to know. Cody Smart, if you're writing that down, do not put these questions in the profile. Please do not. Jesus Christ. That's funny. Do a couple more. Let's see. Oh God, this is a fun one. Would you rather face off against a rat king? Basically, a subway. I get it, subway thing. A rat king when walking home at night, or drop your phone in the subway tracks. Oh jeez.
I'd rather drop my phone in the subway tracks. Because most of the time you can just easily jump down and get it before the train arrives. Jump back up onto the top. Compared to fighting a rat king who most likely would be turns. This is how I'm going with the second option.
Hard. Rat king phone.
I'm gonna do the phone on the subway tracks. That's
Yeah, that's a triple threat on that one. I'm not even gonna. Yeah, no. I'm not going there with the king, man. I ain't trying to get no infestation. Let's see. Oh, this is another one. Would you rather get stuck in the subway underground for hours, or go for a swim in the Hudson? Oh boy.
Oh no. We all seen the Hudson. It's not great waters.
Not it.
No. So I'm going with the first option.
Art.
I'll stay stuck in a subway for hours.
Yeah, even though it's hot, at least you're not going in the Hudson, man. The Hudson is
You might lose your finger.
You might lose more than just your finger. You might lose your whole body in that thing. Let's see. Would you rather have your bodega magically stock all your last minute ingredients, or have laundry in your building? Interesting.
I'd rather have laundry in my buildings.
Okay. Laundry, art, bodega, laundry.
I'll go laundry.
Triple threat on that one. Yeah, that's not a no brainer, but for sure. You wash your laundry. You wash your clothes for sure. Um, let's see. This is a good one. This NYC thing with the apartments. Would you rather get AC water dripped on your head every time you step outside, or have to go every comedy show on a street, or have to go to every comedy show a street rando invites you to? That's interesting.
Mm, I guess I'll take the second option, going to a comedy show.
Pro, what do we think? Yeah, comedy for Costa or the AC?
I'm gonna go with the AC.
Okay. Reason?
Oh, somebody's not feeling the humor.
I don't want to have some random person asking me to go watch a comedy show. If I want to go to a comedy show, I'll go there myself. I sometimes being hit by a just that's just weird to get invited to that. So I'll just take the option that doesn't sound weird.
I don't think there's a right answer to this one. I'll go with the comedy show, but I will say with the AC, it's the experience of New York City. If you ain't getting water dripped on with AC, you ain't in New York in the summertime. You know. I get it though. It's definitely a. Eh, it's a hit or miss one for sure. Now we'll do one last one, or or do one more New York one. Then we'll do one fun one, which is always more of a really time consuming one where you have to really think about that one. Um, but this is a good one. Would you rather, Costa A, get a classic New York City hot dog or a classic New York City pizza? Which one?
Both sound good, but you gotta go for classic New York slice of pizza more so than the hot dog. So I'm going with the second option.
Our dog or the pizza?
If I don't say this option, I would probably lose some of my heritage because of my family. So I'm gonna go with the pizza.
Good call, buddy. That's called good PR response right there. That's what you do best. Yeah, pizza all day on that one. I'm not really a big hot dog guy, and New York pizza is really good. I've heard. I will say though, if you really want to get a good slice of pizza, there's one place in New York I was up there. I don't know where it was, but exactly on the street. But there was a good place up there. It was on was the seventh? I don't know. It was on one of the number streets. It was really good. Didn't have it, but I heard good reviews on it. So something to keep in mind. All right, guys. This one's been more. We're trying to do something fun. We're trying to do a little bit more time consuming. Really have this one thought out. So we're gonna go with this one. Would you rather have infinite knowledge in the world of every little known detail known to man, or B, have no knowledge in the world but can learn it at any time at any place?
That's a good one. Hmm. To have that knowledge or be able to learn it all at
Anytime, any place, yeah.
I'll say I'll go with the second option because if you have all that knowledge in your head at once, I believe it will just sort. It will just circuit your brain.
Short
I
circuit,
believe you wouldn't know what to do with it because you would think of the solution right away. And if you try to think of the solution, you're gonna have to wonder how are you gonna get to it, who you're gonna have to talk, what you need to get to be able to do the solution compared to learning it at any time. So I would definitely go with the second option.
Ard, which one, buddy? Infinite knowledge, or you can learn at any time?
I would like to learn it at any time, really.
Yeah, same here. I'm gonna make a triple threat to close that. The only thing with the infinite, the only one thing I would say with it that it would be really cool is the fact that if you can maybe use it sparingly, you can, I guess, use that as selective memory in a sense, have a selective memory on it. But if you have to have it all at once, it's hard to imagine not short circuiting. But the knowledge at any time, you could go to Antarctica, for example, and learn about Eskimos and penguins if you wanted to. So it's more of an adventure. You want to have more of an adventure time than just I don't know. I guess a well wrapped up gift of knowledge, and you short circuit like a robot. I don't know, or a machine. But regardless, that was good, man. I want to thank Acosta, man. The dream, good old Mr. Krabs now, as we call him. Looking forward to seeing what he's going to do. We'll talk about the schedule a little bit. But first, as always, we'll go to Art. Art, what did we learn today?
Well, gotta learn about some of the New York specialties and a lot of the cultures that are out there, especially with how that area is a melting pot nowadays. But also get to learn about some of the past things that Acosta did, including having his own podcast back then, which that's awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a good. It was good to bring back the old memory. We'll go to the calendar. Calendar coming up. We got tonight, Ard, me, 7:00. Maybe Acosta will join us. We'll see if he wants. We're gonna do a little preview of week 4, a little recap of week 3, and clinching scenarios, which is always fun. They are public, but we are going to recap it. Then it's all G and short, or G and short. Well, G potentially is short, and Seth will take us home. We got Acosta background kicking off the round. Week 4 tomorrow at 1:00 Eastern, and 4:00 will be Gone Nick, and that's going to affect either Caesar or Lara coming up. But Gone Nick at 4:00, that's going to be with G. Then it's been moved to 8:00, not 6:00. It's on 148 now. 8:00 will be Toasty Gold. Nothing to play for Toasty other than play Spoiler Gold. Everything to play for. Keep that in mind. We'll talk about that tonight. Then the round finale, the week finale, will be Caesar Lara. Looking forward to that one. That should be a good game. 2:00 Saturday afternoon. And then we'll be off the 28th. And then we're supposedly going to have our good friend Banana Split. Acosta knows him. Monkey Boy will be one of our last ProCheck interviews with Brad, the only guy left to do, I believe, after that. And we'll have him supposedly Monday or Tuesday. And then we'll have a Week 5 preview somewhere around Monday or Tuesday. And then we'll get into Week 5, either September 30th or October 1st. And we will finish up the group stage next weekend. Before we begin round 12, the round stages, the knockout stage, Super League. Still got 3 weeks to go left of Super League. Really think about the 18th we're going to finish up. So we still got a solid 23 days left. So about 3 weeks and change left to go Super League. Check us out. Check us out on all the platforms, man. YouTube. And, of course, on Discord with all the events we got staying tuned for. I want to thank Cody Smart for recording the show in a sense of recording everything Acosta said. We'll have to post out later today. And thank Acosta for coming on the ProCheck Primetime. For another episode of ProCheck Primetime, it's been KT and R. We're signing off. We'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock for a little preview of Week 4 and a little recap of Week 3 and some clinching scenarios to boot. Have a good night, and we'll see you then.